Hi, it's Joseph Mackay. I'm here with Elephant in Sport at Kings Meadow today to interview Ivor Heller, the Commercial Director of AFC Wimbledon. We're going to be discussing the rise from jumpers from goalposts at Wimbledon Common to now playing in League One and facing West Ham in the FA Cup this weekend. So Ivor, thanks so much for having us down today. What is it that you exactly do at Wimbledon Football Club?
Well, I'm the commercial director here, and from day one, basically I've been the guy responsible for making money out of whatever we can. So, you know, be it the bars, be it hospitality, be it sponsorship, advertising, you know, and that's what I've been doing for many a long year now.
When did you become involved with the club?
Well, I've been a Wimbledon fan all of my life, and well, from the age of like 6, 7 years old. And when the football club was being raped and pillaged, I was one of the guys that was very active in fighting against the future injustices. And when that actually happened on May the 28th, 2002, I was one of the guys that suggested that we start a new football club, and actually got on and did it. So we started on May the 28th. By the end of May the 28th, we knew what we had to do, and the action started on the 29th, and it's been a pretty good road ever since.
When did you become involved with the club?
So in 2002, when we set up the club, you know, I was in a good position to do so. We already had the Independent Supporters Association had their offices in my little print factory that had turned into the Don's Trust offices. So we actually had a base to work from, which is something that we desperately needed, and it was really an obvious place to start. So that's how it all began. You know, by the end of May the 28th, 2002, the day that the decision was made, we knew what we had to do. We knew that we were on a race against time to get registered as a senior football club. We needed a ground to play in, and then we needed a league to play in, and to get it all done was almost impossible. But somehow we managed to do it, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Ivor, you've been involved since day one when the old club moved to Milton Keynes. What has it personally cost you, this whole project?
Well, you know, it had been going on for a long time. The stories about Wimbledon moving first to Dublin, then to Milton Keynes, and so on, had gone on and on and on. And by the time it actually got to that date, we were all fed up with it, and we were basically ready to go. The way it felt when they gave the decision to move to Milton Keynes, yes, it was gut-wrenching, but for me personally, it was like, okay, I almost feel like I've been freed up now. Let's go, let's start again. Yeah. Let's put all our energies into doing something positive, because it felt like we'd been fighting for years to keep our football club, first of all back at Plough Lane, then to keep it in South London, stop it going to Dublin, you know, all these crazy things. And all of a sudden, for the first time ever in football history in England, permission was given to relocate a football club. And I was like, no, I'm not having that. Not having it. So let's get cracking. And to be able to focus on positive things was great. And we managed to harness that positivity. And a lot of people harnessed that positivity. And we took righteous indignation with us. And that's what carried us to get the club started. And that's what carried us to the success we are now.
So that's amazing. You literally went from jumpers for goalposts at Wimbledon Common all the way to League One, playing in the FA Cup. You've played against Liverpool and now West Ham at the weekend. How does that make you feel?
We had a few cones and a few balls, and about 30 coaches turned up on the day to help us, and we didn't ask. They just turned up. It is totally amazing, and something that we totally didn't expect to happen. But you know, it's incredible, magnificent, and the whole day was just incredible. So we that day we lost count at 250 people that came. I'm sure there were more than that. And the coaches were everywhere. I even had a mate of mine who's older than me, wanted to trial, and I saw him and said, look, do us a favour, Russ, don't bother trialling. Get on and take a group with you and tell us if anyone can actually use both feet, will we? Which he duly did, and it was brilliant. It was amazing fun to do that. It really was.
Amazing. So it must just be an amazing feeling going from that to now playing in League One, competing in English football, you know, the third tier as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, loads of people turn around and say, what did you expect? And I said, well, I'm a Wimbledon fan, and Wimbledon fans only know to expect meteoric rises with the odd disappointment and then another meteoric rise. Wimbledon fans, we only know one way, and that's to battle and to make a success of something. We just don't know anything else. Yeah, when I started following the club in the early 1970s, we were not a very good non-league team. In 1974-75 we became a good non-league team, and from there on we just went forward. Yeah. And we kept going forward. We had a couple of reverses, we went back down twice, but then we went up, we carried on going up, and in the end, look what happened. We won the FA Cup in 1988, stayed in the Premier League for 14 years, didn't lose Arsenal for 11 seasons. You know, did the double over Man United. We beat Chelsea at Chelsea. The record still stands. We were the only team to win away at Tottenham. Tottenham was the extra, wasn't it? What was it last year? They were going on about the big record. If Man City beat Tottenham, they would have been the only team. No, if they beat Liverpool, they'd have been the only team to have won away at Liverpool, Man United. I think it was Chelsea. And there was one other, wasn't there? There was four of them. It might have been Tottenham. But in our first season, we did all of that. Yeah, we did the double over Man United. It's insane. How could that ever happen? How could Wimbledon do the double over Man United? Yeah. You know, brilliant.
Ivor, you've been involved since day one when the old club moved to Milton Keynes. What has it personally cost you, this whole project? Yeah,
I mean, to say it cost me a lot personally, I would never change a minute of it. But yeah, no, we put a lot of effort in. I wasn't the only one. There's a lot of people that in my opinion, have been cost a lot by what they've done for this football club. But me personally, you know, I took the eye off the ball on my own business, and that suffered. My personal life, my family life suffered. But again, I don't even think any of them would change any of it, because they all feel that they're part of it and have been part of it. And indeed, you know, my ex-wife still volunteers. Is still here. You know, everyone's still here. It's amazing. You know, and that is something that I wouldn't change for anything. So, you know, it's like a calling. It is a community. We do a lot of good for people. Yeah, we help people when they give birth to kids. They want to bring their kids into their first game, and when they pass away, we help people with their commemorative stuff and so on and all things in between. Yeah. And that's a wonderful privilege, and I really like that.
Yeah, and it's going to be real important moving back to Plough Lane, right? Not just for the historical sort of significance of that, but being able to help more in the community, because you'll have your own base that you're not trying to share.
Yeah. Well, we own this ground, but you know, we can't do as much community work with it as we'd like to. But I would say that you know, going back to Plough Lane, being back in our natural conurbation, will be enormous for the area. It needs it. There's a bit of regeneration needed in that corner of Wimbledon anyway. Yeah. But when we do it, it will be something special. And yeah, it will be good for absolutely everybody, but particularly for me. That will be the greatest day.
Has that always been the aim since day one?
Yeah, day one. I mean, for me, these weren't necessarily stated aims, but they were to create Wimbledon's football club and to get back to playing in Wimbledon or in Merton, in the surrounding area. Yeah. So, yes, that was always a stated aim. And that was the one. People said to us when we first started, they said, you know, you lot are mental, fans can't run a football club. And we kind of batted that one away, and we dealt with that quite quickly, quite easily. Then they turned around and said, you know, the ambition that you've got to maybe get to back into the Football League, you need to probably go and have a lay down in the dark room. Fans aren't going to do that. You know, how are you ever going to fund that? How are you going to make that happen? We did that, tick. But the one that they all said that you're completely mad about was you'll never get a ground back in Wimbledon. You will never ever be able to do that. You know, land prices, everything else that's against you is going to stop you doing that. Yeah. And then, boom, we are on the cusp of it. I drove past it today. It's all flat. It's ready to go. The pilings are starting to be done and everything, and it's happening.
So you've got West Ham in the cup this weekend.
Nice easy one.
Yeah, easy peasy. That's obviously a huge game.
Huge.
And there's going to be a lot of financial benefits that will come from that. What's your kind of ambitions with Wimbledon? Where do you want to take them?
Well, me personally, my sole thing is getting back to Plough Lane and then establishing ourselves as high up the pyramid as we can. Because for me, it's not about the division we play in. It's about having a club. It always was. And having a club back in our conurbation, back where we should be, back where we're 150 yards from where we were. This is going to be, it's colossal. No one ever could have forecast that. No one would have thought that would happen. And that is, I believe I'm going to live to see that, and I will be eternally grateful to all the people that have put all the efforts in to make that happen. It's an amazing thing. When I first started following Wimbledon, we were a rubbish team in the Southern League. We didn't get anywhere. I remember getting to the first round of the FA Cup and that being the most mega excitement you could imagine. Then in 74-75, things kicked off. Alan Baxford came in and things started to happen. Nobody then told me what to dream and what not to dream. And I've got a witness, and I'll introduce you to him if you want, who when we got into the league in 1977-78, I said that in 10 seasons' time, or 10 years' time, we will be in the first division and we'll win the FA Cup. And that is absolutely true. And everybody laughed. My mate thought I was mad, but he remembers it to this day. And he says it to everybody. It's such a shame we weren't old enough to go and have a bet at the time. Because we would have made a lot of money on that one. But, so 10 years later, there we were at Wembley. We'd beaten Liverpool at Liverpool after they hadn't lost ever 42 matches. We'd done a double over Man United. We'd beaten Chelsea at Chelsea, Tottenham at Tottenham. Everything, all the great things that we needed to do, we'd done. Right. So who on earth is going to forecast where this club's going to be in the next 10 years? Who knows?
Something that's kind of obvious being here, like walking through the stadium with you, everybody's saying hello, and it feels like such a family and close club.
Yes.
We look at the top teams in the Premier League, and some people have argued that they're kind of losing their souls because they're financed. How does it make you feel proud that you're not only just part of a club, but a massive integral part of this club that is so family, community based?
I'll tell you what it really is to me, is that we have to fight hard to maintain our values and what we believe in. And we will have to fight for that for years to come, because one day it's not going to be me here. It's going to be somebody else that might have been bought in from Plymouth Argyle or, Outer Hebrides United. And they're going to be looking they'll be looking at the bottom line. They won't necessarily be looking at, it costs us money to, we play West Ham on Saturday, we haven't put our prices up a penny. The only place we've done that is in hospitality, which we're quite entitled to rinse that out one way and another, the same as we did when we played Liverpool. We got tons of publicity for, it was, a father and son could come to that Liverpool game for £24. We never put our prices up one penny. You see, that got us more publicity and much more value than it ever could have done by putting the tickets up a tenner a head. Just, so maintaining those core values and keeping this club fan-owned and fan-run, fan-influenced is absolutely imperative to everything.
Yeah. I know you're a busy man, and thanks again so much for giving us up this time for today. The real question is, has it all been worth it?
Fan ownership has its ups and its downs, and many people believed it couldn't work, and there is no bigger fan of this club than I am. I can assure you of that. I can think of others that equal me, no doubt, but there is no bigger fan of this club than I am. But it's where do you stop it? And that's what you've got to be careful of. And up to now, we've kept a brilliant balance. But times are always changing, and there are people that want to be able to be more involved in more decisions and take more of the big decisions. And you just need to be careful that the fans don't end up voting on which toilet rolls we're going to buy next week, because that would kill the club, in my opinion. But as far as I'm concerned, the fans should be as involved as they possibly can be. All they've got to understand is that this has to run as a business or it's not going to be it.